6:15, Wednesday, November 5th. I want to talk about consistency today. I wanted to jump on here and just talk about discipline. You know, part of me making these videos is staying consistent with something. I struggle with that often. I get trapped in my emotions. I get really derailed by my emotional states. I don't know, some of you people can relate who are deeply empathetic. You know, when even really good emotions can derail me from my my structure. So I wanted to hop on here for a second and just talk about that. I was able to get up today at 3:30, get up in the gym at 4, did my upper body lift, and I also was able to get a good 3-mile run in, which has been a little bit of a challenge lately. I've been kind of quitting around 2 miles just because I've been a little overtired, haven't been sleeping as much, forcing myself to get up and not wanting to crash so hard throughout the days. But today was good. I was able to get up pretty easily, go lift pretty hard, and run pretty hard, and finish 3 miles all the way through, which was really good. So it feels good to make progress. Feeling really connected, feeling really tapped in. You know, discipline is a superpower. If you can cultivate discipline, you can accomplish literally anything. You know, you don't need motivation when you're disciplined. You don't need to worry about your emotions. Somebody posted, my friend Paul posted something on Facebook yesterday, and I've seen it before, but it's the phrase, "I do it anyways." No matter how tired you are, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what's going on, you just develop this attitude of "I do it anyways." And I've added that to my daily reminders. I have a list of like 20, it's like 30 or 40 reminders now. And I've strategically placed them at different time points and reoccurring every day. So every day at the same time, I get the same reminder. And it's been really helpful in keeping me monitoring my cycles and the way my energy moves. Oh. And so I do it anyways. It's been the theme of the day, the theme of the week. You know, I have a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish, but I have such a huge demand on my time right now and energy. I have a very finite amount of time and energy. I mean, everybody does, but when you're a single parent of 3 kids, and you're doing all that, all the housework, all the driving and picking up from school, all the parent-teacher conferences and sporting events and plays and festivals and fairs and holidays, and the schedule is always changing. Things are always crazy. So it's really easy to get out of your rhythm. So it's really important for me to get up early and get after it. And when I do that, it sets the tone for my entire day. I really use Monday to set the tone for my week. I use the morning to set the tone for the day. I use the first week of the month to set the tone for the month, and I use the first month to set the tone for the year. And, it's really easy to set the tone for things when you're consistent and you're able to build upon things. Yesterday was an election day. There was a pretty big Democratic sweep all over the country. Zoran and Spanberger and a bunch of other folks, judges, and Prop 50, and a lot of things are moving very Democratic yesterday, so that was encouraging. I don't subscribe to either party, but I definitely think that what we need right now is some type of accountability for the Republican Party, because they're not holding Trump accountable for literally anything. They're letting him do whatever he wants to do, get away with whatever he wants to get away with, and it's really rough for our country right now. So a little bit of hope, a little bit of appreciation for everybody getting out there and voting. There's a number of people who say, voting is pointless and they're all the same. And that's only true if you don't enforce the mechanisms of democracy. That's only true if you don't have judiciary that upholds the law and the Constitution. That's only true if we don't hold our elected officials accountable. So voting is important, but holding everybody accountable is equally as important as voting. Democracy is an important concept and we have to defend it. But I have a lot of confidence that if we keep building on the small things, setting the tone for ourselves, setting the tone for the country, we'll be able to crawl out of this. It's going to take a while. A lot of damage has been done. And, a lot of immigrants have been severely damaged. A lot of families, Hispanic families, have been severely damaged. Let's see, my 620 reminder is, even though I may not see it, everything is moving me in the right direction. Yep, that's true. And what you find is you set these reminders, if you set them pretty accurately and honestly, and you're very have a lot of self-reflection with your reminders, you'll find that they speak to you at the perfect moment whenever you need them. They've really helped me build awareness for my own cycles. We move in cycles. Things are very cyclical. So yeah, building discipline, super important. Not letting yourself get over emotional. It's really hard for me sometimes because I'm single. Dating is shit these days. I actually feel like the pendulum on that is starting to swing back. I think maybe people are starting to wake up to how ridiculous everybody's being. It's just hard to meet people. So few people really take the time to get to know me, and I don't go anywhere. I don't really do anything outside of my family, and if I do go out, I'm not like talking to a bunch of people or building a rapport with anybody. I'm pretty, chill. I've been on so many dates over the last year and a half, using the dating apps and stuff. That shit, it can work a little bit, but more than anything, I feel like people, I tell the story about myself, but people, only will give you a date or two or a week before they're like, yeah, what, I think I can do better. It's happened to me time and time again. And, one of the hardest things about being a single father of 3 kids is, man, that's a lot. It's a lot. And most women do not want to deal with that, especially these modern women. They don't want to deal with anybody who has any kids, let alone 3 kids. Very, very few women want anything to do with a man like that, which is really tough because it's the best part about me. Being a dad is the best part. It's the best part. It's my most successful thing. It's the thing that makes me who I am. It's the thing I've always wanted to be the most, more than even being a musician. I wanted to be a good father. But I'm finding that I also have really high standards now. Now that I'm trying to really find somebody, I don't want to just go down the sleeping around road. I don't want to waste my time with people who I'm not actually trying to build something with. And I had somebody in my life who I had an insane connection with, but because she's not ready to settle down, it's like there's no point. I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care how amazing the connection is. If you're not willing to build something real, then I'm only setting myself up for pain. So that's another harsh reality of maturing and growing is you have to not isolate yourself, but you have to let go of a lot of people who are not moving the same way you move. And the internet makes it so it seems like everybody is just a message away. So a lot of people look past you, and you also see so many amazing people, but you don't really have access to them. And I really dislike being the person on the internet hitting people up or trying to get dates, or I don't know. I grew up on forums. I was a teenager on the internet. I'm 37 now. I really don't have a taste for that. I'll go up in there and like watch, what people are doing and stuff, but I don't know. I don't like putting myself all over the internet like that. This is a little bit different because nobody's watching these, which is fine, which is good. I can just talk and just be myself and not worry about it being amplified or really even seen very much. I can just, you know, have these little mini therapy sessions, get my stream of consciousness out, build consistency, build discipline, and keep it moving. And then hopefully one day, maybe people who love me will be able to visit me from this time here. Maybe I'll be able to visit myself, reflect on these times, and think and see and connect to the person I was, and be deeply grateful for all the effort that I put in. That's the thing that really sets me off the most sometimes, is I feel like I'm working so hard, trying so hard, and people don't really appreciate it. But I appreciate me. I deeply appreciate all the effort I'm putting in. I deeply appreciate who I am and who I'm becoming. And eventually somebody will come along who will be able to recognize that. But if they don't, oh well. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I love me. I know how much of a stud I am. I know what I've overcome. Continue to overcome. And strengthen myself for the future, because the reality is, no matter how hard things are now, things are only going to get harder. They'll get more beautiful and more rewarding too, but they're only going to get harder. What I'm trying to accomplish, who I'm trying to be, having my kids grow up, dealing with them, like, relationships, and having 2 kids in high school, and having kids like driving, and cars, and insurances, and businesses, and all the things that we're trying to accomplish. It's only going to get more complex, so I have to only continue to elevate, and the only way to do that is to continue building discipline, building myself, letting go of the things that hold me back. That's what this time is really about. It's like I keep making some of the same mistakes. I'll have like 75% amazing days, and then the last 25% of the day I'll fall apart, eat a bunch of ice cream, or do something, stay up late, fuck up the next day routine. I'm trying to put together 100% days. Stay focused, stay disciplined, save money, not chase the shiny object, be present with my children. Like, I know that it won't be long before they're grown, and I'll have an opportunity to really hit things harder again. Work 3 times as hard now so I can enjoy life even more when I'm older and have things moving along. So I'm doing it. When I was young, I got my hands tattooed, and I have this one tattoo on my hand. It's a cross to remind me about sacrifice and service. It's also a Pisces symbol to remind myself about balance, vision, the depths of my soul. And then it also has a hourglass to remind me that time is on my side. Whenever I feel like I'm behind or I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I just look at that tattoo and I remember, no matter what happens, I'll always be ahead of my time. I'll always be exactly where I'm supposed to be. So falling off or falling behind, I could never actually do that. It's really comforting. because I know that I am incredible. I know that I will accomplish incredible things. It's just a matter of time. Just building the habits, slowly building the habits, not letting myself get distracted, staying focused, working hard. All right, that's about all I got for today. To my friends, to my family, to my beloved peoples of the world, I love you all. Keep fighting.